What's going on, guys? So typically, like when there's like big news in crypto, like I don't typically like to do like a video on that topic because like when I check like my YouTube stream, it's like everyone's talking about it, so it's kind of already covered. I kind of wanted to talk about just kind of like the price explosion we saw a little bit. If you guys are unfamiliar with kind of why it happened, like there was some pretty funny rumors that basically like the Asian markets were tricked by the April Fool's, Bitcoin ETF news that was kind of like thrown around as a joke on a bunch of different things. But it looks like this is probably more plausible. This is basically a whale got in and put a $100 million order across like 3 different exchanges. So this is kind of the Reddit thread. I think it was like Coinbase, Bitfinex, and like one, maybe Kraken or something. Like basically they bought up about 20,000 Bitcoin or so and caused a massive pump. And, typically like everything tends to follow Bitcoin. So like we're seeing that in all of the other markets. I mean, look at this, Ethereum at 173, Ripple 36 cents. I mean, you're seeing, Bitcoin Cash is the biggest gainer. Like if we look at this, Bitcoin Cash is the biggest gainer today. Bitcoin Cash has really been down recently. Let's take a look at, what's not doing good. Ravencoin, oh, that's interesting. So I kind of like this project. It's been surging recently. So I need to do a video on this. I'll probably do that at some point. That's an interesting topic. But all the stable coins pretty much, all holding steady. Dogecoin up big, Litecoin, Cardano, EOS. So everything really kind of followed it. And if we look at like the Bitcoin dominance, like if 50% of the trading is going on with Bitcoin, which is kind of what we've seen. Let's put this at like 1 month. Well, I don't know. Let's do 3 months. So we're seeing 50% of the trading or so. It's been like that for quite a while. This white line is all the other altcoin markets, and we're seeing a little bit more of a dispersal between that. So almost like 23%. It's trending up towards almost 25%. So a quarter of kind of the non top 10 coins in a sense. So, but when Bitcoin really goes, like you see that with everything. But yeah, just again, like I didn't really time the market very well. So like I did a video just yesterday, talking about how I pretty much kind of went all in on arbitraging to get to the 50K. I wish I would have delayed that like a day or two, because I was in Bitcoin. I had a lot in Bitcoin and was kind of like transferring out, so I didn't necessarily time that too well. And we're kind of seeing like I was kind of like the earnings platforms have really been stagnant, I would say. This is just looking at the price charts. The price recently has been doing well just because like Ethereum's way up, so still at kind of 11-12 cents, but the markets have just been getting hammered. Like if we're looking at Novachain, recently had a little bit of a surge, but it's been down as well. Volumes have been fairly low. Like one of the things I was kind of noticing is that well, this has changed a little bit in the exchange, but there was not a whole lot of buy orders just the other day when we're kind of looking at the exchange. Like it was really low. Like it looks like there's 39 ETH in buy orders now. Man, I can't remember, but it was like I only saw like not even a full page of buy orders there. So that's changed a little bit, and there might be a little bit of renewed optimism there, but it's still like very small markets. Like I was kind of talking about this just the other day, because like like I'm still very optimistic with some of the earnings platforms, arbitraging in particular, and I'm putting a lot of faith in those. Part of it is like I've been involved with the platforms for quite a while, but it's still like in terms of like the amount of like users that are in arbitraging. You know, it's saying that there's like 50,000 or so. Like if you're looking at this, like trusted users, you know, 47,000. That number might actually be a little bit lower, you know, considering if you have like, you know, accounts that aren't active, or, you know, maybe there's people out there with more than one account. So like, let's just call it like, you know, less than 40,000 active accounts that are in arbitraging, which may even change even further if we're getting to a point where some of those accounts are going to go dormant with kind of the gas feature and some of those things. Like just for like comparison, like I know like, you know, there's a lot of negativity behind BitConnect or whatnot, but there were millions of people in BitConnect, and there, in terms of like the earning style platforms, there was a huge surge in adoption, and a lot of people theorized that there was a heavy influence on the bull market in 2017 due to a lot of new people getting into crypto that were getting in to kind of these earning style platforms you could get into where you could put in a certain amount of crypto and get more of a return back. But I know it is a sore subject because you know, it's not around anymore. And people are still trying to figure out, like I'm still trying to figure out what happened with that. You know, I've gotten into a lot of these other earning style platforms. You know, Evo AI is kind of another one that's still kind of in the introductory phase, kind of beta phase. There's a lot of other much smaller platforms. There's you know, I've been kind of getting into like different dApps. Like I was really getting into Ethereum dApps recently. I've been getting into a lot of the Tron dApps. There's, you know, maybe some interest of getting into IOST or some other blockchains that are even Cardano. There's been, you know, a lot of interest in some of these, but you know, it's interesting. Like, you know, we have this big bull market and all, or you know, just out of the day, and all of a sudden I've got like a bunch of messages from people, you know, basically saying like, I'm disappointed that you're still in these earning style platforms. Like you should have just, you know, should have got into trading, or, you know, should have done this or should have done that. And you know, there's you know, maybe I would have liked to have done things a little bit differently. You know, perhaps I could have you know, switched my focus. You know, I still feel that there's a lot of potential in these style of platforms. It's just that we're kind of getting over like the stigma of you know, of a platform like BitConnect, that we still don't fully understand, you know, what's going on. So I think like, you know, there's potential perhaps in some of these sleeping giants, like some of these earning style platforms, if they get a little bit of you know, a little bit of momentum. Like there was a lot of these style of platforms that when we saw them kind of taking off, like in that bull market, and then when things kind of collapsed, prices collapsed and whatnot, and they weren't sustainable at that point, a lot of them scammed out. You know, we may see something like that if we see like, you know, crypto kind of breaking resistance in kind of this lull phase that it's been in. So I'm checking on the chat a little bit. Glad is a scam. You know, there's, you know, I don't feel like there's I don't feel like there's like a 100% of a movement where, like, I don't know, how do I put this? You know, there's not transparency behind some of these earning style platforms, and part of that is the avoidance of, you know, regulatory agencies. Like I think that there was, you know, perhaps that was what we were seeing you know, with some of these entities. Like I did a stream not too long ago. It was talking about like the dark web and like the biggest marketplace, which is Dream, which is kind of like the new Silk Road in a way, and like they were getting DDoS attacked like heavily, you know, and it's, you know, probably most likely from like government type agencies that were using, you know, whatever technology they have to kind of attack some of these marketplaces that they're trying to, you know, take down. I don't necessarily like really agree with that, because a lot of them are like in a lot of these marketplaces are there's a huge like drug presence. Like, you know, they're buying and selling and trading drugs, and like I'm more of one of the opinion that I think that all drugs, you know, should be legal. Like I'm more of like a libertarian mindset when it comes to some of those things. Like I think the drug war is just a fucking, you know, huge waste on taxpayers, you know, resources and whatnot. And I think there should be more of a focus on like you know, help or counseling or people that have issues or problems, as opposed to you know, trying to regulate personal choices by people and locking people in cages, you know, because of that. So like that's kind of, you know, why I feel that some of those marketplaces, I think that I don't think you're going to be able to stop it over time. Like people are always going to find a way around it, and so that's kind of what like Dream essentially did, is they went around it, and now they're on like, I believe it's like a Tor based or Onion based server or something that is going to be more immune to DDoS attacks. We saw that, you know, whether it was true or not, we saw like that was pretty heavy with what was going on with BitConnect, like towards the end, and we're still, you know, you can label a scam, you can call it what you want, you know, no one really knows. People still don't know. You know, the only one of the guys that are really that really knows is Satish. Everyone's kind of looking for Satish to see, you know, that guy's absconding. You know, we're along with, you know, some of the anonymous developers behind the system. There's a little bit of anonymity behind, you know, some of these earning style platforms. You know, we're seeing that with NovaChain. Like we still don't know very much about, you know, the team. Like I've been getting a few different stories from people also who've had some negative experiences, and, you know, reaching out and seeing if I can help them. You know, and then arbitraging has kind of been, you know, sore subject for a lot of people as well, because there's been, you know, the payouts have not been, you know, what they have been promised to be, and that's causing a lot of negativity with that as well. There was somebody who was saying that basically like they had like $1 million ABOT, and the gas costs, I guess the gas costs were like more than the payouts, because they wouldn't be able to liquidate, I guess, like their daily payouts or something. So like their bots are essentially have gone dormant. So I think like right now there's like this consolidation phase. Like I think a lot of these earning style platforms like are just, they're going to be quiet perhaps for a few months, and maybe we'll see a little bit of a surge in the crypto markets as a whole. Like the you know, the top 10, you know, altcoins, maybe we'll see, you know, some other altcoins, you know, really perform well. I just like, you know, I've gotten out of trading. Like I was in that world for a long time. Like I really wanted to get, you know, away from that because of my travels and things like that. I didn't have the time to sit behind a computer and trade and whatnot. Yeah, I saw the video you did, Gandhi. Most of the platforms died off under 8,500. Do you have some Bitcoin? Man, I really like I got rid of a lot of my Bitcoin, or I had probably a little less than like 1 Bitcoin, and like I got like 1 Bitcoin by selling all of my shit tokens, you know, to basically pool enough money to get to where I could get over 50,000 ARB, so I could get like my full payouts. And even then, like I'm not able to pull anything out of arbitraging right now. So I'm just kind of like letting it sit. But like I really was trying to get to a point where I could stack some Bitcoin so I could get into the Bitcoin Hex project, which is going to be like another month and a half away. I really think that's a really cool project. I'm going to be doing some more videos on that. There's a lot of game theory behind that, and the way I've learned so much from watching Richard Hart. Like he's probably one of my favorite like thought leaders out there in crypto. Like I was trying to explain this to someone. So like in the community that I'm at here in the Philippines, there was a guy that's like a huge investor in IOTA, right? And so I was explaining this concept to him because then like my other friend was like, oh, you know, what do you think about IOTA? And I was like, okay, well, I want to see what like what someone has, like the criticism that someone has behind something like IOTA. And so like if you look up some of the criticism behind a project like that, you get Richard Hart, who just hates the project, right? And he's so hypercritical of it. And he's bringing up all of these different things. Like I can't really verify like some of the stuff that he's saying, you know, whether it's true or not. But I would love to see somebody from IOTA really challenge that opinion, right? So like you kind of have like almost having like a little bit of a debate. That's one of the good things about like the earning style platforms that you're in. There's people that don't believe in it and they're going to criticize it, and there's a lot of negativity behind that. And so then you have like these two forces that are kind of debating, and you can choose, you know, behind that based on this debate, right? So, you know, like with a project like IOTA, I don't really see anybody trying to challenge a guy like Richard Hart and some of the things that he's brought to some of his arguments. And so I was kind of explaining that. I was like, you know, that's something I kind of tend to look at, is some of these competing opinions. And I think that is healthy for the crypto markets as a whole. Now he's going to be much more of like a Bitcoin maximalist, and that's his background. That's kind of the way he's always been. So he thinks that everything that's not Bitcoin is a scam, essentially. And he's even admitted that, you know, if you followed my advice, you didn't do well, because Ethereum did, you know, much better than Bitcoin, say. And there's a lot of other projects that did much better as well. So it doesn't always play out in theory. You really have to kind of look at the market trends and the market, you know, what's going on in the market. So like with you know, some of these earning style platforms, like they don't really act in the same way as like some of they don't follow the same trends as like the different crypto markets. It's a different type of market, and you kind of have to kind of look at it that way in a sense. So after free gas runs out, I'll let my A-bot sleep. Night A-bot. I've heard a lot of people saying that. So, you know, yeah, I don't know. Like I'm gonna try to kind of stick it out, but like I don't know. Like I don't think the pricing trends, like with what we're saying, like you're gonna need to see this really rebound. Like this is, and I that's why I think things are just gonna. I think things are gonna sleep for a little bit. Like we may see like the month of April really be have some negative, you know, pricing trends. And that, I don't know, it may be a better idea. Like I probably should have held off, you know, before getting to 50K. Maybe I could stack some more tokens, hoping the market rebounds. But I think that's kind of what's happening is like, you know, people are having to make some tough choices, you know, with what's going on, and you're seeing, you know, that whether that's all part of the strategy. You may see that like they had an issues with these overinflated A-bots, you know, during, you know, a time when, you know, it shot up to like 24, 25 bucks, and people were buying these at like under $1 if you were in like the ICO phase. So I don't think we're going to see that in the same way. You know, I just want to see more of kind of like if you're going to do some of the things you're doing, you really need to have some more incentives or some things to onboard like new users, you know, to bring in, you know, more people into the platform. I'm not thinking that a whole lot of people are going to be very you know, very optimistic because, like, you know, I mean, just looking at the trends, you know, I mean, crypto's booming, right? And you're seeing just massive losses. And what is this? This is like the last week. Let's look at the last month. Let's bring this up. So, yeah, I mean, it's not been good lately. And it's just, the markets are just kind of all over the place. You had this kind of pump to like $1. I don't really understand this. Like, I guess I didn't really understand what happened March 13th. So, I think ABOT will be phased out as non-existent. They're working on the stable token concept, this new type of you know, blockchain. Now, one of the things they also did was the ETH payouts. Like they structured the blockchain or the block exchange in a way where, had it worked and not gotten backlogged with sell orders, it was a way to have like automated ETH payouts, and you can't do that with like a market that's like fluctuating like crazy. Like, I guess they don't have the know-how to code something like that with an exchange that's fluctuating, you know, as rapidly as it is. If you had something like a block exchange, you control that. So maybe with the stable coin idea, that's what I kind of feel like. I feel like maybe they're working on something like that. Like I have no idea, but I don't know. Like you know, it's hard to say, but I feel like they're working on something. You know, I mean, I'm invested in. I was hoping to, you know, kind of, and this is kind of a mistake I made. Maybe if you want to look at it that way, like I kind of went in heavy with the intention of really kind of pulling out and getting in, you know, diversifying, right? And I haven't really been like, you know, recognized as like an arbitraging YouTuber because I promote other platforms. Like I'm in everything. And there's a lot of people that are like exclusive to the platform, and those are the guys that, you know, Arbitraging is kind of putting on their media channel. Like I've never had a video on Arbitraging's media channel, and part of that's because I feel like I don't think it's wise to support one platform unless you're like getting paid by them. So like I've never been paid by Arbitraging to do anything. So I'm you know, I'm looking at it as I'm an investor, and I'm also looking at a lot of other projects. I'm invested in a lot of other projects. I'm talking about that. BitConnect was the same way. Like BitConnect wanted people to be exclusive to BitConnect, and there was like, if you remember, there was like Regal Coin. There was gosh, I can't even remember all of them. I'm not going to go through them all, but there were people that were they feel like they missed the boat with Arbitraging. They didn't have the same type of following to really get like the referrals, and some of the schemes and strategies that people were doing, like I'll give you back all your referral money if you sign up underneath me. There was like a lot of just these weird things that were kind of going on towards the end. That's what, you know, I mean, I had a lot of questions about some of that, but it was like out of my control. I was really like, all my BitConnect videos are still up, so like you guys can go back and look at all my stuff. Like I was just, you know, really kind of documenting, you know, like, you know, what was going on, and that's you know, I don't know. There's still some rumors that, you know, maybe they launch their, you know, BCCX decentralized exchange in the next bull market and do it in a way where, you know, they're immune from DDoS attacks and government interference because they're all anonymous. You know, I've been kind of looking at some, you know, some different things. Like maybe we see something like that. I don't feel like, you know, putting hope in that is a good idea though. So I hope I'm not like misleading people in that sense, because it's very possible that we never hear anything, you know, from that ever again. So, but I don't know, with today's like facial recognition technology and everything, like I feel like some of those guys aren't going to be able to hide forever. So I feel like Satish is going to resurface at some point, and we're going to get some answers. I was reaching out to a bunch of people I know in some of those communities, and they're all like, hey, you know, you talked to Satish or whatever, or you heard anything from him? Because he was like the leader. I'm like, nah, man. Well, I think everyone's kind of wondering about that. But he's like he's on like the most wanted list in India right now. So, and he's got a family too. He's got a wife and kid. So, I don't know, man. I mean, Same thing with like some of these other guys. Like, you know, when the shit was hitting the fan, you know, you saw a lot of people that were kind of going after David and David's family. You know, there was rumors about people going after his, like finding information on his mother, going after that. Like, you know, it can get ugly, you know, when you're dealing with people's money. Not enough ARB to pay off the $1 million ABOTs. Yeah, it's a sore subject for me a little bit too, because it's like, I think I kind of mentioned that, like, I feel like there should be more help from some of those, like, I don't know, like, that's hard to say. They don't have the funds to pay out what they're promising as returns. That's pretty apparent, but I think they're doing some things right now to just try to help sustain the ecosystem with their gas feature, and they're using. So they say they're using all the money from gas and exchange fees and everything to buy ARB, you know, on the exchange to help support the price. So I don't know. Like, I'm just kind of like throwing ideas out there. I am claiming the "I told you so" position. Crazy haters, no matter what happens. I think like the haters are somewhat healthy. Like, I like hearing what people have to say that have a critical opinion of some of these platforms. I think that there should be a little bit of a debate. I think you should be worried if everyone, you know, is saying nothing but positive things about a crypto project, you know. If everyone's just saying, hey, yeah, it's going to the moon, it's, you know, it's the greatest project ever, and no one's really critiquing it. Like, you see a lot of new projects that are doing stuff like that, and they're so new that they haven't had a time to really be vetted with due diligence. And by the time they get to a point where they've kind of built up enough capital or something, and maybe they have some problems, they exit. And I've seen that with several different projects. So I don't know, man. Crypto's ripe with scams. There's a, you know, and I think a lot of the scams, I would have to imagine, I would think probably like 70-80% of the scams that happen in crypto, like, they had good intentions, but, you know, human nature, human greed, you know, when you have kind of a back door or something like that, and then the platform starts having a bunch of issues or problems, and it starts going downhill, and then someone just decides to pull the plug, you know, and just run off. That happened in Vietnam with a couple of the platforms that I was involved with, and I was pretty pissed about that. So there was one guy, what was it, Sky Mining. You can go back, like, I did a little bit of that, because that was like the precursor to Osama mining, which I got involved with, where some of the guys that were involved with Sky Mining like transferred or went to Osama, and that was a big red flag for me. But you know, the head guy, the head CEO, basically stole like 35 million and then took off to the U.S. I guess I don't know if he's still in the U.S. or not, or whatever, but yeah, he took all the money and left like a note on Facebook. It's like, sorry guys, I gotta I gotta go. When do you think the market will pull back? It's been on a run here lately. You know, I'm not a technical analysis guy. I want to get more into that. You know, I need to have a little bit of a better setup, you know, for that. Like, I had that in Saigon, and I was getting ready to kind of do more of that, but then decided, you know, maybe it wasn't. I didn't really feel safe in Saigon with some of the stuff that was going on. I felt like I just needed to. It was time to leave. And, you know, there was like 3 projects I was involved with that all went downhill, and yeah, I don't want to get too much into that, but like, I would like to get more into maybe having some different things in mind where you know, indicators, I guess you could say, like things, you know, I guess if you saw like one of the things I was kind of just telling someone, one of my Filipino friends, is he's holding a bunch of Ethereum, and you know, he was kind of asking me about that. I was like, well, I think what you should do is perhaps wait until like you see like a 3 or 4% like pullback in the market, and maybe that would be a good time to sell. So like let it run, let it do its thing, and then if it peaks and it kind of tops out and then it starts to retrace a little bit, wait till it comes down, you know, maybe 3 or 4%, and then maybe, you know, that's a good time to kind of like lock in, you know, your profits on that in a sense. So, but man, Ethereum, I'm not holding any Ethereum or any Bitcoin, and I was like right before I dumped a bunch into arbitraging. So it's keep you know, keep not doing well, but like the man, seeing it at 172, just everything's booming. This ain't gonna last. Like I think it's Litecoin up 32%. Just if you could just throw your money at at any of these cryptos, and you'd be doing well. If ABOT is real, and ABOT really running gas, how's it been running all year long? I mean, I guess we've been in a huge bear market, and they've been paying out for like over a year. So, I mean, they're doing something. I think, you know, I think BitConnect was doing some different things. It just, you know, it just collapsed, and then everyone just got jittery and started running. There was the kidnappings, like the extortions. There was a lot of crazy stuff. Like kind of brought out the worst in human nature in some of that stuff. And so like, you know, I mean, if you're going to call some of these like a pure Ponzi or pure scam based on just kind of looking at the math, like, I don't know if that's the best way to interpret some of that stuff. I feel like you need something more, because like one of the reasons why I started getting a lot of faith in these style of platforms was my experience with trading bots. So like I got into Hozbot and was able to you know, code in a bunch of different bots that were profitable and were doing pretty well. And I got away from it, but you know, it's not necessarily scalable, you know, with you know, like huge amounts of money. But you look at Profit Trailer, you look at like Gunbot, you look at all these different trading bot platforms, you know, that, and part of it is like the market's a little bit saturated with some of that stuff. Like you see what Novachain's doing now with the high frequency trading bots. Like perhaps that's, like I saw some people are having really good results. I've heard others that I've talked with that didn't have, you know, great results with that. So I'm playing around with that. That's what I'm gonna do probably after the stream, is play around a little bit more with, here I'll show you guys a little bit of like, I got into the T-Rex. Oh yeah, you guys should probably understand this too. Like they're doing some maintenance on this. Not really sure what they're doing, but it's gonna be down for an hour in like 6 hours. So, but I've got these 4 bots. These two, like I programmed these two and they got turned off because I basically had to steal all my Ethereum to throw into arbitraging. And so like I have some of my settings. I don't feel like these are great settings. I don't know why it keeps doing that, where it's like, it keeps taking all of the pairs. Like I'm only doing so many pairs. Like I don't want some of these different shit coins and things like that. I don't know why it keeps doing that. But like for instance, like this is the only one I got running. Let's take a look here. So I'm gonna probably go a little bit more in depth with this, like with the ladders, with the take profit, the stop loss. I had someone else. So this is the way you should be doing it. I'm only selecting like coins and things like that I would want to get into. And like some of these other ones, like I don't really care too much about that. So like I saw a strategy of just taking out the stop loss completely and just staying in currency pairs that you like, and also like increasing like the ladder, like doing the ladder, increasing that quite a bit. This was another one where I think on this one what I did was I put like the take profit much lower, so I would like trade more and whatnot, and I have it in all of kind of the different pairs and things. Like I wouldn't mind holding any of these tokens. So I think like that's I've heard some people have had some pretty good success with that if you just kind of like eliminate like the stop loss in a sense. So but the thing about like this type of Binance bot is it's only longing. It's only longing, and so it works great in like what we're experiencing right now. Like it's kind of like a bull run because it's gonna do well in that. But in a bear market, it could kind of go crazy, and so maybe that's something to kind of keep in consideration. But I want to dump some more money into my Binance account and kind of get these bots set up a little bit more and play around with it a little bit more, because I want to get more in kind of some of the crypto bots, trading, kind of setting things up. But I need to kind of work on my tech setup too. I'm just on this dinky little laptop as opposed to the trading station I had before. Arb gets more ETH in its contract in 1 day. You've managed to do since you cloned your contract and you learned the code to run a business. Oops. 1933 was a worldwide scam. It took the gold out of the currency. Yeah, there was was it Nixon also that took us off the gold standard? I don't know. You start getting into all that stuff, man. Like I'm a huge conspiracy theorist when it comes to some of that, all that stuff. I don't believe a lot of like, the intentions of kind of the government at a very high level. That's kind of why I'm in crypto. So, like they're gonna try to shut down memes, like the EU's shutting down memes. Like that's ridiculous. People are just gonna find ways around it. But I think sticking to countries where it's a little bit more, like I like it here in the Philippines. Like I think it's like a positive atmosphere. There's a lot of poverty in the Philippines. I would say much more than Vietnam. Like Vietnam seemed like it had a little bit more structure to it. Like you go around the streets of Vietnam, you don't see like homeless people, like almost never. Everyone's got a little hustle. Like there's a lot of people that are they don't have a whole lot of money, but they're still doing something to make a living. There's more poverty here in the Philippines, and it's a massive like country in terms of population, almost as big as the U.S. Like there's like 180 million people or something, and was like 300 million or something in the U.S. Something like that. I don't know. Like it's a huge market, and I feel like crypto could really. It's pro crypto here, and I've been doing a lot of networking with some crypto folks here, and we're even talking about developing a competing platform to Coins.ph. So, Glover, did you get any ROI yet from ARB? I was probably close to ROI until just recently when I put a little bit more to get to like the 50K. So now I'm under. So now I need to pull out probably like another like 20 ETH or something like that to get to like ROI. So it is what it is. So I mean, it may take me a while to get to ROI now. So we'll see. And I'm not getting any special treatment, not like guys like Blake that are getting 5-figure loans to throw into arbitraging, and on the other guys that have gotten some of those things. So that's kind of a sucky situation as well. but at the same time, like, I can talk openly and freely about it because I've never taken money from these different platforms. Like, I'm just, investing with what limited funds I have. But like I had kind of a little bit towards the end of my other video, I was talking about doing, like, I feel like I would be a pretty good coach. Like, there's not a lot of, like I feel like I might want to do a little bit more stuff where I'm like coaching like new up and coming crypto YouTubers, because it's I've got some experience in it, and I have a ton of experience from my athletic background, and like, sports and athletics is a really sore subject for me. Like, I don't think I'll ever be a football coach. Maybe basketball. I might get into basketball or something. And then the other big thing I was in was track. But like, no one in crypto gives a rat's ass about sports. I've tried a couple of times to like get a little bit into sports. No one cares. Like, everyone's just in it for the gains. But I like the coaching element. There's a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of like team building, and like there's a lot of that aspects that's kind of missing in crypto. And there's kind of like this amateurism that overtakes it. Like, there's not a whole lot of really good leadership. You take something like that yacht cruise in the Mediterranean back when you had all of like some of the most influential people in crypto that were like it was just like, it was an ego fest. Like, all of these people were like, I'm right, you're wrong, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm going to argue with you, until until like you concede. There's a little bit more back and forth, like with coaching, and having people that are open to being coached. And so like I'm trying to work with that a little bit with developing some guys like different YouTubers that are interested in getting into crypto. I feel like I would be pretty good at that, so it's kind of what I'm doing, or it's kind of like a long-term thing that I'm looking at doing. Part of the Philippines, Ian. I'm outside of Manila, so I've been in the Philippines a long time. I've yet to go to a beach, so one of these days I'm gonna go to the beach, maybe when it gets really hot. Start showing successes in your videos, then a lot more will follow. Yeah. Yeah. There's that. I mean, at the end of the day, like, people want to make money. So, are you near Caveat? I don't know where that is. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I like where I'm at. So I've been enjoying it here. Yeah, Makati's great. I like Makati. Like, Makati's probably one of my. That's like if you want to go and for the nightlife and have a good time. There's a lot of awesome stuff going on in Makati. So, all right. Well, I've been on a long time. I didn't really want to keep the stream that long, but. See if you guys have any more questions before I get off. I'm gonna try to get on. Like, I've been trying to get on a little bit earlier. It's a little bit of a struggle, kind of with my situation, because like the community I'm in, it's a little bit more of a late night community. Like, there might be music playing until like 1, 2 in the morning, and so like. I might not get up until later, so I think what I'm gonna try, like with my last video, what I did is I just I did the published video where I kind of collecting my thoughts and then coming back and just kind of cutting out some of the more relevant parts and throwing a video together. Those are hitting, like, say the US, like in the morning time frame. So like right now, I'm sure it's super late for a lot of people in the US. And I think that's why like my streams are a little bit too late for people, especially if I'm getting on too late here. What do you think about the trading pool profit platforms with real traders rather than bots? Like, I know T-Rex is kind of, or NovaChain, they're doing something like that. Like, I mean, I don't know if there's other ones out there. I haven't really researched it a whole lot. I'd be interested in it. You know, there's if you're producing results and you guys have some strategies that are working, you know, I think trying to share that, like, and get to a point where, you know, you can get more and more people into crypto. You know, I think that's positive, beneficial. Where are you traveling to next? I don't think I'm gonna be traveling for a while. I might travel around the Philippines, but it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for me to travel because I lost all my bank accounts. I lost all my credit cards. So I need to find some new ones, and that's going to take some time. Like, you got to be in the Philippines, I think, like 6 months or so to be able to open up a bank account. And then, like, then at that point, like, you got to figure out how to get like a credit card, because a lot of, like, the airlines, like, you can't. I don't think it's very. Like, a lot of times, like, if you go to the airport and you have an issue or something, a lot of times they won't take cash. Like, they'll only take a credit card, and sometimes like something like a BitPay card that I've been using, it doesn't always work. Like, you'll have money on there and you'll try and use it, and it just, like, it gets declined, or it just doesn't work. You need to have, like, sometimes, like, when I've been having trouble getting plane tickets, where I just, like, I can't get anything to a debit card or any of my crypto cards to work. It's like they only take a credit card. So, like, if I'm overweight on my bags or something like that could be a nightmare. So I don't think I'm going to be traveling for a little while until my finances improve. And I already did quite a bit of traveling. Like, I traveled all over Vietnam, like, basically from Saigon, went all the way north, and we went and saw, like, everything. So burned out on traveling right now. Just trying to get away. Just kind of do better with kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I got an ACR card, Alien Certificate of Registration card. BitPay doesn't work always without the chip. Yeah, because BitPay is, like, it's a non-chipped card. So all right, guys. I think I'll get off there, but appreciate y'all staying online. I'll try to get on earlier for a stream if I can. If not, I might just kind of do, like, a published video like I've done before.